if I say yes to this, does it violate the mantra or this mission statement that I've created for my brand? If the answer is yes, then your decision or the answer to that person is no.
This next one is going to be, of course, on the branding side, right? On the branding side. How to define your brand. Now, that's going to be very important for people. And we actually wanted to bring it back a little bit to the basics with this one, as far as like, how long should it take for you to describe your brand? So let's go into it.
Like it's kind of both of those two are the critical steps. Like Samuel talking about writing down the manifesto, and it should be like, in my mind, it's like 15 words max.
Yeah, it shouldn't be too heavy.
Like you have to be able to elevator pitch it. And that briefness is about making sure it sticks. I talk a lot. I can do run-on sentences for a day, but I can also in 15 words describe what my brand is about and what my summarize. If anyone, because the only reason why we're giving you these jewels is because someone, in order for it to be quote unquote successful, which can be anything, doesn't mean money, but in order for it to be successful is that someone outside of yourself can understand the litany of ideas in your head.
Yep. So that's so crucial. The fact that like how he defines success for a brand.
Yeah.
Right. Because once again, we all have our different definitions of success. But if what I have in my mind about what the brand is, and I'm putting everything out, and you don't get that, that's a fail. That's a complete L.
Right.
Regardless of how much money I may have made, regardless of who may know the brand, no one could really say, yo, Nicky does this, Moose does this. The Nicky and Moose podcast is about this, right? And we have to learn to be clear and concise in a very short way of what our brand is and say that consistently. Because if we don't necessarily say that consistently, then we're leaving it up to the world to figure out what our brand is. Mm-hmm. So it's like that game when we played as kids, is like you say something to one person and they have to say it to the other person, right, and the other person, and then it all messes up.
Yep.
Right? Because it's like, I forgot what it was, but I'm gonna say this. And I forgot what you said, but I'm gonna say this. Like, it should be very short, clear, concise, to the point, mm-hmm, that where it doesn't matter what age a person is, they know what the brand is. And that's hard for some people.
Oh, for sure.
But my question to you is, why do you think it's hard to describe something that you have created and that you believe is going to be like the next best thing?
Yeah, I think ultimately what I've discovered is it comes back to lack of clarity and lack of confidence, right? Because when you're not confident in what you're doing or what you're building or creating, yep, you have no idea what you're trying to say because you're unsure. Again, it goes back to that concept of like, is what I'm building really unique? Is it cool? Is it going to be liked and accepted? So when you're running those thoughts through your mind, you start to become unclear. Like, wait, what was my original idea again? And then you start mixing and matching, forgetting what and why you started.
Right.
So it goes back to, the more you can, and I hate to say it, but work on yourself, like master you. Right. Build your confidence and get clarity. It even becomes easier to work with other creatives. I'm in the process of redoing my site now and like looking at different branding concepts and design concepts. And I'm noticing the difference than when I first started on this journey because I actually know what I want. Like I know in my mind what I would like to see, how I want to be represented. Yeah. And granted, I've matured enough to understand that I can put the most beautiful site out there and people can still not receive it the way I intended. Yeah. But that's part of personal branding. That's part of art. That's part of any part of communication. You can say something with a very pure intention, but you can't necessarily control how others receive it. Yep. So like I'm starting to learn that. But just to bring it back, I'm seeing that it's my confidence that's breathing my clarity. And now I can clearly see, yo, I want my video to look like this. Oh, I want my brand aesthetic to look like this. I like these types of colors. I don't like these types of colors. But when you don't have confidence or you don't have clarity, and God forbid you don't have those skill sets to create it, then you're just like, I don't like it. Okay, and then the designer or whomever you're working with, so what don't you like about it? I don't know. I just don't like it.
Oh my God. Oh
right? I don't know. I just don't like it. So I think it's a terrible loop that you find yourself in. And I can only imagine what that's like for, a creator. Maybe you can speak to it. Like, creators who don't have confidence or clarity, and then they just create stuff that probably has no ending or has no start because you have the ability to do it, but you don't know where you're going. Right. So it creates that cycle. So yeah, I think the reason why, just to bring it back, it's difficult because you lack clarity and you lack confidence. And I'm sorry if that hurt your feelings, but I love you.
No.
Oh, Looney Tunes.
Okay. All right. Well, so from a creator standpoint, dealing with a brand that doesn't know what their vision is, like, or what they want in life, period. That's how I say in life. It could be like something very simple, like, yo, I want a design, I want a video, I want this or whatever, but you really don't know what it is. And I love it because it's like, I have this idea, but here, do it.
Right.
And I trust you.
Right.
You don't trust me. You just don't know how to describe it.
You just don't know how to do it.
You don't know how to describe it. You don't know. So then when, like, either myself or my team will create this product, whether it's a video or graphic, then they're like, now they're starting to see the vision.
Right.
All of a sudden.
Now they're getting ideas.
It's like an epiphany comes up. Like, ideas. I knew it all the time. Why didn't you do this?
Right.
Why didn't you do that? Why is it? Sir, ma'am, you gave me nothing.
That's right.
You gave me this audio and a picture. I made you a whole promo video.
Right.
What do you want me to do? What are we talking about? So, and this is why I'm really big with people to not give up their brand as far as whether it is social media management, whether it's any really big deal that deals with the distribution of their brand right off the bat, because you don't know what your brand is supposed to look like. You don't know what it's supposed to say, how it's supposed to feel, what is the exact tone it's supposed to be.
Wow.
And so when you don't have that and you just allow other people to do that for you, they have the most power because they have a little bit more vision than you because of their experiences. Right. And so they're just going to go back to their experiences, be like, okay, your brand is somewhat similar to like what I did over here. So I'm just going to use their same tone and their vibe, and I'm going to use it to you because I already know that it has some type of, results.
Right.
And then you look at it and you're like, oh, that's not really how I want to be portrayed. That's not how really what I want to do. When did you tell me?
Right.
If you did know, we wouldn't have this discussion.
Yeah.
And so if we could say anything, it's like that very first phase of your brand is, what is it? How does it make me different? And how can I describe it if I only have 2-3 seconds with a person? I can't sit here thinking I'm going to be able to pitch this the way I want to pitch it. We have certain coaches in extreme execution that's like, okay, I really struggle with explaining it. Like, I'm always have to get on the phone. If I get on the phone and tell them what it is, they get it.
Right.
But if they look at my social media, if they look at my website, there is a huge confusion.
Disconnect, yeah.
And I don't know, like, I don't know how much longer I could be on the phone describing that, And that's because you never spent the time to really understand what my brand is and how quickly I can describe that. Because it shouldn't take that long. You should understand certain keywords. You should understand certain pain points that will be like, who am I talking to? What is the pain point? Where are they going with this? What is the transformation based off my my experiences that I give other people. Like, what is the transformation that they're going to get? That shouldn't take a whole paragraph.
Masterclass alert. Masterclass alert. Yeah. Let me you know, but from the flip side of it, because he mentions this in the clip where he says defining the mantra.
Yep.
And I think it does go undervalued in a sense, or not as appreciated for people to create a mantra or a mission statement, because in a way, especially when you compare it to small business or personal brands, we might start to feel like, wait, that's too corporate-y, like that's too much of a corporate element or concept to bring into my personal brand or small business. But it's super important. And the reason why I highly suggest it is because it helps you make the right decisions over time. So especially if you've gotten bigger, right? We said we're going to go back to the basics a little bit here. If you're someone who's grown or seeing progress or seeing movement and momentum, and you want to make sure that you don't lose your day ones.
Yeah.
Or you don't lose those customers who've been loyal to you for so long. And then you're saying like, oh, people are saying I changed. And you're wondering like, wait, did I change or did I just outgrow my last audience or my original audience? Well, one of the ways to make sure that you're at least moving with a clear conscience is to create that mantra in the beginning and use that as your value guiding system, right? And I've called it value-based decisions. If I can make a decision based off of one of my values, I can always feel good about what I'm doing because it justifies what I believe, not what I feel.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not saying feelings-based decision. I'm saying values-based decision.
Yeah.
So that concept where he threw in there of saying, hey, that mantra, not only do you need to have a mantra, but make sure it's clear and concise for the pitching element. I think over time, it helps us tremendously because now we can build a brand, we can expand the business and still stay with those core belief systems or values that attracted people to us in the first place, never feeling like we've changed up on them or we tried taking to them or not giving back to them because we're staying true to our values. So you never have to, wonder or have a tough decision. You could come up against a new idea or a new proposal and then weigh it out like, if I say yes to this, does it violate the mantra or this mission statement that I've created for my brand? If the answer is yes, then your decision or the answer to that person is no. It becomes very clear. You feel me? So,
but also to the same point, going back to the perfection part, is we're explaining our brands in a long form because we're overthinking it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
You know? So we feel as if we have to say all these different things to make it very clear to the person, when in all honesty, we just need a couple of things and that is it.
Right.
You don't need nothing else. But once again, stop overthinking. You know what I mean? Moose just said whole bars. I hope somebody wrote that down. Shout out to the people who transcribes our stuff. You know what I mean?